I've trained calisthenics for 10 years. I've solely focused on strength. But what's on the other side? What can we learn from endurance? This is my journey to running a 70-kilometer ultramarathon in Japan. Okie dokie, boys and girls, this was the warm-up set for the Bulgarian squats I'm about to do. 42 kilos, but first of all, let's talk about today's run, because today I actually went over the 10-kilometer distance properly for the first time. I did 16 kilometers, and with good reason. In 2 weeks, I actually have a half marathon coming up, like an actual event. And of course, I'm not going to compete with the rest, but kind of with myself, because my PB, my personal best for the half marathon, is I think more than a year ago now. I did 1 hour and 55 minutes on my own. And well, I was nowhere near that shape at the end of the bulk, but the running has been paying off. And I feel like, if I go into it properly, not strain myself too much, I can actually get a PR and perhaps aim for somewhere around 1 hour and 50 minutes. So that's what I'm aiming for. And so today what I did is I did my normal 10-kilometer run at 6 minutes and 20 pace, but I added a bit of a stretch to it, another 6 kilometers at 5-minute pace. And well, I was able to hold it, but damn, those last 6 kilometers, they were quite heavy because I'm not used to the speed. Of course, I'm not training for speed, but I think this, half marathon is a good checkpoint to kind of build up some strength, some speed, because once you're able to run a bit faster, you're also going to be able to, build up the distance more easily. So, I think finally the biggest storm of the 10 kilometers a day, the One Punch Man challenge, has been cleared. So of course I'm still gonna, watch out and be careful. And of course the next 30 days are gonna be very important to see how my recovery will be managed after today, because oh boy, my quadriceps, my glutes, they are feeling it already. And of course I have to watch out for my feet as well. But all in all, very exciting. And well, hopefully, it will lead to a good half marathon in a couple weeks. And well, from now on, I think it will be a regular theme that, I'm gonna be doing more than 70 kilometers a week. Perhaps, in the beginning 80, but soon hopefully 90 as well. But anyway, as for today's workouts, we've got a bit of everything in the mix. First of all, I'm gonna do 1 set of the Bulgarian squat. And this is gonna be an all-out set, because of course I've already got a lot of volume in my legs today. And so I want to keep up my strength, but in order to keep your strength, you don't actually have to do that much volume. So by doing 1 set and doing it hard, I'm trying to, achieve a good stimulus with the lowest amount of fatigue, if that makes sense. So yeah, 1 set to the max. Last time I got 13 reps with 40 kilos, and today, well, I'm gonna do a maximum attempt of reps with 42 kilos. So it's 2 kilos heavier than it was last time. Let's see if we can match the reps. Perhaps we're actually getting stronger, because of all of this running. I don't know. But after that, we've got some other stuff coming up as well. Upper body related, because hey, I'm a calisthenics athlete. I only do 1 set for my legs. Running is just an excuse to skip leg day, don't get me wrong. I think that was 13. Holy fucking hell. Alright, so legs have been completed. 1 set, the ideal calisthenics athlete leg workout. But it was a good one nonetheless, because hey, 42 kilos, 13 reps, that's the same amount of reps with more weight than last time. And I'm doing it on a 16-kilometer run in my legs, which was not just a light run. I went quick at the end, or at least quick for me. But now I'm gonna move on to just a little bit of skills. 3 sets of planche and front lever combos, so I'm not gonna take rest in between the planche and the front lever. I'm just gonna do them straight after each other, and that will, make it so that both of them are a little bit less intense, because I'm not aiming for intensity on these sets. I'm just aiming to get a little bit of volume, just like yesterday. And it's different from what I did last week, but one thing that you will notice when you start training, or you've been training for a while rather, is that you will never figure it out completely, right? Sometimes you have these eureka moments where you think like, oh, I have to do this, I figured it out. But then you will notice that, hey, over time, your level changes, right? You get stronger, your goals change, your situation in life just changes, and you always are going to have to adapt, so you never figure it out. Guess what? I'm on week number 5 of Road to Shimanami. I am, whether it's week 5 or it's week 1 or it's week 500, there is always things that you're going to have to change. So right now, this is something I'm trying, right? I'm trying to do a bit of less intense planche volume. Next week, I'll know if it worked or not, but no matter what happens, I'm going to have to continue to adapt and evolve to get stronger in my training, especially as the running mileage ramps up. So, don't strive to know it all, because you're never going to know it all. Just strive to know more than you knew yesterday. That's the most important part. But anyway, 3 light sets, just 1 set every 3 minutes. So it's not even going to take 10 minutes, but even just these little bits, the little things, they matter a lot if you stack them up. So yeah, that's it. Let's go. Fuck. The goal was not intensity. Nope. Alright guys, be right back. I gotta put the bacon in the oven, but I'll return for some dips. Okie dokie, remind me to take out the bacon at 19:35, but in the meantime I'll be doing some dips. And last time I did dips as well. Today I feel like my side is actually feeling a little bit better, so they are working. I am able to target my endurance workouts without aggravating the injury, which is what I want, of course. But when it comes to the dips, last time I did not go down deep enough, which that's the part where you hit your chest, so I was mainly tired in my shoulders afterwards. But today I want to make sure that I target my chest. Now, how do you target your chest with the dips? It's basically similar to the push-ups, where if you lean forward, you target your shoulders. If you don't lean forward and you focus on bringing your elbows forward, right, extending your arms, that's your tricep. But if you open up your elbows a little bit, like this, and then you focus on bringing them inwards, you will target your chest. On top of that, if you want to target your chest, right, the deeper you go, I think the better, because then you get the stretch on your chest, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 dip every 2 seconds, but I'm not gonna wait the remainder of the time at the top. I'm gonna wait the remainder of the time at the bottom of the dip, where my chest is stretched. So it's gonna be something like this, where I'm waiting here and I'll pulsate up and basically wait for the next rep. So yeah, I'm gonna do it EMOM style, 1 set every minute on the minute. I'm gonna start with 10 reps, so that's 20 seconds of timer under tension. And basically, every 2 sets, I'm gonna increase the sets or the reps in 1 set by 1 rep. And then I'm just gonna see how far I can go. Once I hit that wall, there will be another surprise, but we will get to it when we get to it. Alright, that's it for the pause dips. I got up until 2 sets of 15 and then on 16, failure was rep number 2, so Jesus Christ. That puts me at 152 reps. Ideally, I'm gonna do another 348. What the hell? Alright, so I did a small cut to make my life easier editing-wise, but I did not pause the EMOM timer. I'm still going every minute on the minute, and now I'm just gonna switch over to unpaused dips. Sets of 16. Alright, 453 dips. I think it's time to see if we can get to 500 dips in 1 set. I'm not gonna go to my absolute max, just building up the set slowly today. That would be just too much volume, but it's definitely something I want to do in the future. It's gonna take a lot out of me, so I have to plan it with the running as well, but perhaps next dippy workout. 47. Holy shit. Okie dokie, so that's it for today's workout. And well, I guess you can call today's workout the pussy workout, because I did not go to my max in the dips on that last set, but whew, the pump is gonna be sick nonetheless, so hold on for a moment. Alright. Perhaps some people say that the dips only hit your lower chest, but my chest is pumped all around at the moment, so I don't really care. But what I was able to do and what I do care about is the fact that my chest is the most tired out of the three main muscle groups that work in the dip, right? So in the dip, you have your chest, of course, but also your triceps and your shoulders working. My triceps are tired as well, not gonna lie, but my shoulders are, I think, quite fine, so that's okay. And that's mostly thanks to the fact that I did those first dips with the pause at the bottom, because when I was waiting at the bottom for the next step, especially once it got difficult, my chest was just ripping apart and I could feel all of the striations, and it was quite nice. I would highly recommend this workout actually. I've done something similar with the Japanese push-ups. It works with dips as well. It will perhaps work with any movement that you can do in an endurance-based fashion. So rows, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, any variation that you want, chin-ups, go ahead and try it. I might just try and go for my maximum on this kind of workout, building up the sets slowly, but it would, I think, lead to quite an insane amount of volume. So yeah, perhaps something for Tuesday or something. But anyway, that's gonna be it for today's workout. And well, it was about volume, wasn't it? Also, I did the sits for the Bulgarian squat. I did some skills in between, but the bread and butter was some volume. And when it comes to the volume, today is my second deep workout because I'm kind of stepping away from the push-ups to let my side heal from that damn deadlift that I did. But it's important to build up volume slowly. And I say that after, doubling my running volume from one day to another, which, I wouldn't recommend you try just running 10 kilometers every day out of the bat unless you have some mental motivation to do it. But, apart from that, now that I've actually, gotten used to the 10 kilometers a day quite well, I think it's important to build up the volume slowly, whether it be, the running or the push-ups or anything at all for that matter, even the planche and front lever and skills like that. Build up the volume slowly, because if you try and build up the volume too fast, even though, you feel aches in your body, if you try to push through those aches and then you ramp up the volume even more, well, at some point you're going to get injured seriously, and then you have this period of perhaps weeks or months where you're not doing anything at all. And when you look at it in the long term, not getting injured at all will get you the most volume in total. So that's something I'm really trying to take care of right now. I was originally planning on actually ramping up the volume 2 weeks ago already, but that just wasn't possible. So I'm very happy I waited because, hey, today I ran a 16-kilometer run, and I might be tired as hell, but I don't feel injured. So as long as I recover well in the coming days, we can move on to the next checkpoints towards Shimanami Kaido. And well, that's gonna be it for today's training. I'm gonna get that bacon out of the oven. Not quite yet. It's only 10 past 7, so I have to wait another 25 minutes. But nonetheless, I'm gonna enjoy that bacon, and then, well, tomorrow is another run. So I'll see you then.